Good evening, lads and lasses. My name is Allaltitude, and we're gonna talk about Rust once again. Since my top 10 worst things about Rust. With multi-tool. And basically, we're gonna start off from basically tier 1s all the way up to the highest tiers, if that makes any sense. Like, basically, from fresh spawn to geared. And basically, Rust, what's made it good, what's been taken out, what's been put in, what's made it bad. And we're just gonna go on from there. And I think we should start with the bow. Yes, the bow. And we were all incredibly upset with the bow when it first got nerfed. I mean, there was a complete on-rage about it, but that's when the crossbow came out. And let's be honest, not everybody wants to use a crossbow. We think the ones who just say foo to the crossbow, because it has a slow fire rate, it takes absolutely forever to reload, it has a slow draw speed, and it just doesn't work out, where the bow, it has a good fire rate, you don't exactly need to reload it, it has a good draw speed, except it's nerfed. Which leaves fresh spawns at a huge disadvantage, especially nowadays in Rust with the leveling system, or the XP system, whatever you want to call it. I call it the leveling system. So me personally, my own opinion, I think the bow should be de-nerfed. Just have it back to its original sights and have it, you know, furthermore to the right, so therefore the arrow drifts further to the left, and the bow is less accurate. Alright, now let's also talk about the building, and let's start with the support beams. Like, see the scenario. You're getting shot at, right? You're getting shot at it, and you manage to finally make it into your airlock, but right when you open the first door, you run right into that support beam, and then you start panicking because you basically come to a full stop and you're holding still, and then you get headshot, and then all your stuff is taken, and they're basically inside your base, and they just magically happen to have a few rockets in C4, and then they blow in and take all your stuff, and yada 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 yada. Like, no one likes the support beams. I absolutely hate them, which really forces me to having to make very small bases, and you guys know me, I'm a sniper. I mean, I'm a sniper who would sit on the roof. I'm not a roof camper, I would just sit on my roof, alright? I just look around, enjoy the scenes, you know, watch that naked hit the tree, and, you know, I look around, see if another one's coming by, and if one of them starts attacking the other one, I'd shoot him, cause, you know, I'm that kind of guy. Now, if you're not gonna put the support beams back to the way they were, I'm suggesting putting the double doorways, let them work as support beams if there's nothing in them. So if they're just like a completely open doorway with no gates, no doors, no shop post things that no one in this game uses because they're completely pointless. Just if they're empty, make them count as support beams because they look freaking beautiful. I mean, I put them in a 2x2 and they look absolutely beautiful. They look just like normal support beams. Let's also talk about the half-wall block. And basically, if you go into Rust right now and you look at a wall, halfway up that wall is basically something back in the game a year ago everyone called a half-wall block, or half block wall, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know. And basically, everyone loved this thing. It was used for raid towers, it was used for leveling walls. What I mean by that is that if you were on a mountain, and it was at an incline, so you went one foundation down, like, oh wow, it's uneven, and then you could just place a wall on top of that foundation, and it's perfectly level, like, oh, there we go. And nowadays, you can't do that anymore, and it really sucks. It's a completely useless, and literally makes building walls feel useless without a half block. Now my suggestion, and remember these are all my opinions, is to put it back in, but if you're gonna put it back in, make it cost like a butt ton of resources to just upgrade. So make it like 1,000 wood to upgrade one, make it like 1,000 stone, 1,000 metal fragments, maybe 50 high quality metal, Like, basically make the half wall blocks just cost a lot if you're gonna upgrade them. And what else? Oh, the external walls. I honestly, I do believe they were pretty overpowered with the amount of layering that would go. Oh, just hit my mic. Because I'm doing hand motions with the, you know, layering. But yeah, the layering was insane, especially with it having to take 8 C4 just to take down one wall. I think that was pretty stupid, but now you can take them down with 3 C4 to get through one wall. Now that's kind of, that is really stupid. I mean, an armored wall takes 4 C4, and yet a stone external wall takes 3. You do realize it's a wall that's very thick and sturdy, right? I mean, the layering is bad enough, especially with, you know, some bases that just go absolutely insane with it, that everybody hates it. I hate layering. I mean, I would go with, like, stone external wall, and then the wood external wall, and then barricades and bear traps and such like. That's what I would do. Now my suggestion is buff them up, like, up to 5 C4 to get through one wall, because that feels much nicer and a lot healthier. But if you're gonna do that, do something to reduce the layering. The layering is a really big issue, because you'd find so many bases with, like, walls that would layer from, like, 3 to 25. That's insane. So, like, make it so, like, within a certain distance, you have to place down another wall. So, like, make it, like, I don't know, like, a foundation size before they can place down another external wall. Basically do something like that. And the same thing is with the wooden walls. I feel like they're incredibly weak. They're almost completely useless, because you don't see them anywhere. You don't see them anywhere. So, they're pretty useless. Another thing is the insane armor. The armor that the amount of damage a piece of simple, like, face armor takes, the amount of hits it can take before it breaks. It takes quite a bit, especially just to simply damage someone. Or just maybe server, I don't know, but if it is server, like, basically everything needs to be really balanced out, and everything just basically has to have the D-nerf and just go back to how it was. But the crossbow, I think the crossbow should get slower draw time, and, you know, like, having to walk while reloading. I don't think that's overkill. I think that's perfect balancing for something that's basically an early game weapon that can kill someone with headshot on a naked piece of the skull. I think it's perfect, and it's realistic, because in real life, you can't easily pull back the crossbow string with 3 easy pulls of the fingers. That's not possible. I mean, you can try, but you're probably gonna end up with some sore fingers for the rest of the year. And who knows, maybe you won't be able to feel them. And what else? Oh yes, the auto turret. If I remember correctly, you can put auto turrets on the ground. And this happens way too often. I've seen it absolutely everywhere, but people just basically going up to beaches, just setting up an auto turret, giving it ammo, and basically if you spawn and that turret sees you, you die instantly. And it's just ridiculous, especially with the cost that an auto turret will cost you. 50 high quality metal to make an auto turret. How about an AK, 10 high quality metal, 500 metal fragments, and 500 wood? How about that? Does that seem a little better? I'm basically saying, like, have, like, auto turrets have to be placed within a certain distance of the beach, so, you know, fresh spawns can't get killed right as they join in. It's just a complete, you know, mind mashup that everybody hates, especially if you get killed by a turret the moment you spawn in. Nobody likes it. Nobody does. And the helicopter. Let's talk about the helicopter. The helicopter, it's pretty good. It's nice. I mean, you can take it down pretty easily, and at the same time can take you down pretty easily if you don't know what you're doing. But I'm just talking about the M249 right now. I mean, that is absolutely freaking ridiculous. Ridiculously overpowered. You know, the fire rate is less than AK. It has the lowest recoil, the highest damage ratio, the longest, almost the longest range, and has perfect pinpoint accuracy. Little pixel touching accuracy. Just like, eh. Like, I understand, like, do you know how easy it is to take down a helicopter? I mean, you can take it down with less than 100 bullets if you know where to aim correctly, and if you have that worthy aim. It's been proven. I'll put the link in the description to a video where someone with less than 100 bullets has taken down the helicopter with a bolt action only, and basically, yeah, I'll put that down. The M249 is too freaking powerful. If it's gonna have the highest power, have it have the highest recoil, especially when crouching. And let's also talk about some of the ammo. Explosive rounds, that should do the most damage. It should travel, the explosive rounds should travel the slowest, but put in the biggest impact. Wait, what am I talking about? No, high velocity rounds should be given the highest impact. Explosive rounds, it's a splash damage thing, so I don't know why that doesn't do the most damage, but it doesn't, and that's really stupid. And the high velocity rounds. I mean, back then, a year ago, high velocity rounds were not nerfed. They would kill anyone on a headshot. It would move super quickly, which I would abuse the absolute hell out of because they were so freaking powerful and they were perfect for the bolt action rifle. And in real life and logic, the faster something moves, the greater of an impact it will give something. But apparently, in Facepunch's dictionary of Rust logic, that's not possible. I mean, do you nerf the high velocity round but make it less accurate? Basically, just make it less accurate. And with the new throwing mechanic, I mean, I've been practicing using the spear a little bit because, one, it's cheap to make, and after I found out the stone spear could one-ball a metal face mask, I'm just like, I should start using this more because this is apparently a really good weapon. And when you had the quick throw, that was pretty nice. That was pretty clean and nice. And now, it just doesn't feel right. It really feels really stiff and really just slow overall. We should be able to get a setting where we can turn that kind of thing off. Although I don't think it's gonna happen, so I think that's here to stay. But the double barrel shotgun, I mean, you learn at a pretty early level, and I've checked out the damage on it, and it's not bad, especially at, you know, point blank range. But really, at point blank range, it does too little damage. I mean, with the normal shotgun, I mean, it's proven that at point blank range, you take it out with like 5 shells, but I think the double barrel needs a buff because just at the point blank range and further away, like, I think it's a little weak, honestly. As well as the shotgun shells, you learn those the 12 gauge buckshot. I can't talk anymore. You learn those at like level 29 if I remember, or somewhere in the 20s level. And I think you should learn it at like level 18. Custom SMG, fastest fire rate, should be having the highest recoil. Oh, the revolver. I think the revolver really needs some love from the developers. it's really weak, it's very inaccurate, and the range isn't very good on it, and it doesn't do that much damage with a headshot. It really doesn't. I think the revolver does need some loving from the developers because no one uses it really. The only real weapons you've ever seen are shotguns and rifles. That's really all you've seen. You've never seen any pistols because you can't find pistols because no one uses them because they're not powerful. So I think pistols should be getting some love from the developers. Like, have every gun have their advantage. Bolt action, the range advantage, aka the damage advantage, and the shotgun, like, group fighting advantage. But pistols, I think they should have the accuracy and speed advantage in this. Because you don't ever see pistols anymore. You used to see them all over the place, and now you can't even find one person using one because they're not powerful enough for people to love anymore. Also, why would you want to waste 10 high-quality metal when you could waste 50 high-quality metal on something that would last much longer, has longer range, and does a lot more damage? And me personally, I think C4 needs to have their splash damage because it's an explosion. I don't think it's necessary for it to having to blow up one wall at a time. You know, everything in this world does splash damage, you know. Fire does, I guess, splash damage. Like, basically, anything that explodes does splash damage to anything. And when I said fire, let's actually talk about the flamethrower. You don't see it. You really don't see it a lot. Excuse me. Because really the only usage you have for it is just burning things and like trapping people in bases. Like, you don't see it a lot because what is there to do with it? Everyone upgrades everything to stone before they log off. That's kind of stupid that no one uses the flamethrower a lot, because I would love to use the flamethrower if I could find something to do with it. Which is why I can't wait for, you know, like, the actual fire sticking onto the walls, because that's what fuel does. If the fire tracks the fuel and it coats the entire wall and sets it aflame, it just stays there. I think the flamethrower should have some touches on rocks. Like, here's what I'm saying. The flamethrower, heat expands, and it makes things soft so they will break. Like gold. Gold is the heaviest but softest. What I'm basically saying is that, I'm not sure how well it would work, but if you flamethrower a stone wall that's facing the right way it's facing, if you flamethrower that, and when the fuel is like completely done burning, like for like a few minutes or so, when you pickaxe that wall, every 2 hits, you would take like a percentage away, or something like that. So therefore, you could see it a lot more in game. You could see it having a lot more usage. You have to see a lot more players using it overall, and it would feel like it does have a use. Like, basically, that's what I'm basically saying. It would soften up walls so they could be pickaxed through, or, you know, explosions could do more damage to them. Like, I would love that, especially with the chainsaw. I think the game does need a chainsaw to rip through the wooden doors and the scrap metal doors that, you know, everybody loves, but all the raiders hate because arrow rating is taken out, and that has to be something that has to be brought back. Arrow rating, that needs to be brought back. At least with just maybe crossbow. Just maybe crossbow, but definitely bring arrow rating back, because there's no way you can do an early raid and without having to kill someone or just camp out front of their door. There is no way you can early game raid someone without having to, you know, do some sort of late game or mid game tactics. It just doesn't work out, so bring arrow rating back. That needs to be brought back. Yes, we have this massive uproar of, you know, people who would rather take the XP system over the blueprint system, and the blueprint system over the XP system. My suggestion for this is to get rid of the blueprint branch. Just hear me out. Just hear me out before you start typing in the comments. Take out the blueprint branch and then bring it in and put it into the main game. So therefore, half the official servers are blueprint and the other half is XP. So you have Texas XP and you got Texas BP. Like, I think everybody will love that, and it would still be getting updates as well, and it would all work out absolutely beautifully. And me personally, I would rather take the blueprint system over the XP system, because you got no point to go back into the rad towns if there's if there's nothing you can find in them. I mean, you can't find anything really useful except for really the gun boxes. But with the blueprints, it actually felt like you had achieved something, and with the XP system, it just feels like it's very predictable and repetitive, because one wipe you would probably get like an AK and the large storage box right off the bat, and then the next wipe you would get like a crossbow and then you get a shotgun. It just gives you that great feeling when you just bust open that barrel and you find a blueprint. You're like, oh my god, what's it gonna be? Then it ends up being a bucket. Then you're all sad. But anyway, these are all just basically my opinions, and basically, yeah, these are all my opinions, and if you guys don't like any of what I'm saying, then you just basically sat here for no reason then. And all you who do like my opinions and think something should be done about this, then good for you for staying. Yeah! So, thank you all for watching. I probably will make another one of these in the near future, and I probably will make another Rust review. You know, as always. For some reason, I hate Rust, but I keep playing it, which doesn't really make sense, does it? I guess there's just something in it that still brings me back, or it's just the fact that all you can really do in the game nowadays is just really kill, since you can't really do much else until you get the actual PvE events in. And I'm not talking about bears and wolves, I'm talking about the radiated pig and the mutated deer. Yes, I saw fan art of that. And the Peacekeeper. I would love to see the Peacekeeper be implemented somewhere in the beta. I would love to see a Peacekeeper. And that'd be just absolutely horrifying as well. But thank you all for watching. And don't really know what else. I can't talk anymore.